Hey, yo, guys. So, I was just sitting here, kind of being bored with myself, and I was just thinking about intuitive eating. Now, it's really important for me. Intuitive eating is something that I definitely do. Um, but I think that we need to talk about this a little bit more deeply because before I started this process, my intuition was off. If I ate a big breakfast, by lunch I would be still full, and then my intuition would tell me it's lunchtime. It's time to eat, you know? And I would still have plenty of food in my stomach. I would be eaten to a 10 at breakfast. I maybe make it down to a 6 by lunch, and then I pop it back up to a 10. And then I get home from work, and of course, I have to have a snack after that, even though my stomach is not empty. There is nothing in my intuition that was telling me to do the right thing. No, no, I got to get a Snickers bar, a bag of chips, and then, of course, my whole dinner. And then, of course, snacks after dinner until went to bed, because that's what my intuition was telling me to do with food on a daily basis. Now, I've had things go the other way drastically, and it was unhealthy. And it was also kind of intuitive eating because I have ADHD. So I was on kind of a food budget too. So I only had enough money to do somewhere around, 12 to 1500 calories a day, but it was kind of like low budget food. I was also walking like way too much because I had to get my days done, to walk that much. And I got myself down without intentionally doing it, down to it. I was as thin as I weighed what I did when I was in junior high, when I was 5'2", and I'm 5'5". It looked horrible. It hurt to sit down. It hurt to do anything. Like, it hurt to lay down. My spine, I could feel it as I tried to sleep, and it just didn't feel good, Now, because I didn't have any of my methods or anything developed at the time, the only thing I knew how to do once I kind of got out of what I was doing and I was able to get into more of a functioning thing was just like to eat kind of the highest calorie dense things that I could find, which was like ice cream, and it was just like every night I was eating ice cream, sometimes twice a day. I was going through like the big jugs of ice cream, every 3 to 4 days tops. I think I'm being a little conservative. And I immediately shot up to where I think I was like 162, but it was continuing. And even when I cut out the ice cream, because I was just so used to all that sugar, my intuition would replace that ice cream with like gummy snacks that I also didn't need, that I wasn't hungry for, that my stomach was not, ready for. So I'm all for intuitive eating. That's ultimately the goal, especially because I don't enjoy calorie counting. I had to work towards developing that system, but before I could get to eat to a 5 and eat to a 3, get down to a 0, just avoid these few tiny ingredients that it's okay because you're going to make up for that when you get home, and an easy cut back on sugar. I needed to retrain my intuition. And honestly, that's where this all started. I did start with doing just 24 to 36-hour fasting, and that was just to calm my neurology about the idea that I wasn't going to starve to death if I didn't eat the meals that my intuition was telling me about, And then, of course, I tried several different methods of eliminating food, but still eating food, just to see how that would work, what made weight come back, and all sorts of things. I finally came onto, like I said, just a few ingredients that I can't have. I have a very, very normal diet. I eat practically anything that I want, and I'm losing weight effortlessly now. I needed those times. So I hear people say, oh, there's toxic things, and don't, fast, don't do any of these things. For me, it was such a reprogramming of my neurology to get to that point. And it took months and months and months of practicing and working on it and building that intuitive form, slowly increasing my calories until I could finally convince my brain that I was in control, that it didn't need to panic, that I knew how to feed it, that I knew when to feed it, and that I was going to tell myself, like, with parasympathetic resets, with all sorts of different methods that I've been using this whole time, if you look back, how to retrain my intuition so that it would work for me. Now I don't crave sugar sweets. And if I do, I'll try to make my own, or I'll stick with like chocolate, which is like a healthier one for me. I like if the ice cream, the gummy snacks, those are great, like every once in a while things. But that's another one that I can guarantee you I could literally pop 20 pounds up if I spend a month eating that way. And then my whole brain is going to be craving things at the wrong times. If I let that pattern slip that way, I go up that way. If I let the pattern slip too much the other way, it goes too much the other way. But if I find that nice middle ground where I'm not panicking about food, but I'm also making sure I'm getting exactly what I need every single meal, that's the ultimate reset. And that is how you turn yourself from somebody who is naturally out of control with their body one way or another. You might struggle with underweight, you might struggle with overweight. And in order to fix that, there's got to be some kind of intuitive reset. I don't think you should fast if you're underweight to try to reset your intuition. You might want to think about rescaling your number system. Let's say eating to a 3, eating to a 5 has you 20 pounds underweight. Well, maybe you're under measuring your 3s and 5s. Maybe your 3 is what I would call a 2. Maybe your 5 is what I would call a 3, and your brain is just a little bit too reset the other way. So you want to increase your protein, you want to maybe increase some healthy carbs in there, and you want to make sure, without going overboard, especially with like refined sugars and stuff, that we really, I feel, triggers the wrong kind of reaction for us with food. But if it doesn't do that for you, that's wonderful. But you can use slight calorie increases if you are having that kind of problem. It could even be something like, I'm going to eat what I intuitively feel like I'm going to eat, but I'm going to also make sure I get 2 protein shakes in a day or something. For me, especially whey protein is a really good way for me to bulk up. If I want to avoid bulking up with protein, I avoid whey protein at all costs. That's one of my elimination things. And I switch to pure collagen. I use the bovine collagen for joints and muscles, and I use the marine collagen for skin and hair and nails and stuff. And they're both actually, it kind of overlaps, so that it's actually just multiple benefits for you. So, this is all about training your brain to stop panicking about whichever way you need to go, and putting yourself in the driver's seat in a healthy, responsible way. We definitely are not trying to encourage, I'm not trying to encourage unhealthy weight loss or unhealthy weight gain. We want to make sure everything is done in a very calm and progressive way. You want to gain weight. Well, don't eat tubs of ice cream. I can tell you that from experience. You'll probably gain the wrong kind of weight. You might want to try, instead of trying so much cardio, although I don't skip cardio anyway because I think it's good for the cardiac and stuff. But weight training, and like I said, find out which whey protein does help you gain some weight. Because if I need to gain weight, it's whey protein. It's not pea protein. It's not soy protein, just whey. I also know, just in general, that milk products, if I eat milk, drink milk every day, lots of people do fine with that. Not me. I do better if my milk is turned into cottage cheese, yogurt, or even cheese first. Although when I say even cheese, again, if I start piling cheese onto everything I eat, there goes my track. Unless, of course, I eat to a 5. But I usually, with me, I portion things out. I have my meals set so that they're designed to make me go to a 5. And then if I need cheese afterward, I'll grab like a chunk of cheese to round myself out. I'll have some cucumbers and hummus or something like I did today. I'm definitely feel like I'm a completely different person from when this started, as far as my ability to feel my intuition correctly. And in order to feel my intuition correctly, I had to correct my intuition. So if you're having trouble with intuitive eating, if you keep hearing all these things like, of course you can eat ice cream, of course you can eat nachos, you should be able to eat anything you want as long as you follow your intuition, and that's not working for you, it's possible. You need to take a deep dive, do some macro studies, try some fasting, check out these elimination diets a little bit, just a little bit, enough to see when you add things back what is harming you. I don't recommend doing any of these elimination diets for any kind of long length of time. If you've been following along with me, most of these elimination diets didn't last over 48 hours, and that was intentional. I just wanted to see the quick effects, and I wanted to see the quick effects of leaving it and different healthy, how that would work. We don't really want to do things that are going to slow or mess up our metabolism. And so I have not been doing fasts ever since I was able to repair my intuition. However, I will be getting back into fasts later. The reason why is because of the autophagy. I really, really, really like how it does get you some cellular repair. I noticed some fantastic things when it comes to skin tightening. And so once I'm kind of down to like my full whatever place, which I'm like this close, I think I'm like within 5 pounds of where I want to be, which, since getting away from all the testing is actually fantastic. It's really been, I don't know what, like 2 or 3 weeks since I started getting rid of all those. I started doing the sourdough and all that too. But there's certain things that I definitely, like I said, haven't added back, and it's been really, really beneficial too. So it's been a couple different pronged effects. There were some toxic ingredients that I needed to be aware of, and I needed to rewire the way that my brain responded and reacted to the idea of having food, not having food, and exactly how much to eat, how to leave some on the plate, because my brain doesn't want to, things like that. It's weight loss. Everybody thinks it's physical, or that it's psychological in a way that you just need to push on through. I completely disagree. I think that it's supposed to feel easy. You shouldn't feel like you're on a diet. You should actually feel very healthy. You should not feel like I can never eat this for the rest of my life and it's like half of the food that you like and you crave, It should feel natural and you should feel open and able to have these things. But it takes more than just listening to your body when your body is sick. Your body obviously isn't telling you the right thing, or you wouldn't be having that problem. It's just basic logic. So anyway, I encourage you to keep looking back on it, keep trying different things, trying different methods. Make sure you try. I would go with doctor advice if you want. I am not a physician, and this is just my personal journey that I am sharing with everybody and how I did it. And I just hope that I can help people out there with their journeys as well. So have a great weekend and cheers.